Now that we've dispelled another myth concerning the so-called expulsion of Jews from the Muslim lands, we come to the issue of pogroms and persecution. It is rather ironic that he claims that it was the Arabs who subjected the Jewish populations to pogroms in their lands. The Arabs being blamed for pogroms even though they cannot pronounce the letter P is as asinine as it gets. But that is beside the point. In actuality, pogroms were widespread in Europe and Russia. The term itself originated from the Russian language and entered the English lexicon later on. It describes a mass purge of Jewish people, particularly in the European Christian world. Throughout the 19th and 20th century, new types of anti-Semitism developed across Europe. In the Russian Empire, many waves of violent and deadly riots targeting Jews were recorded, as were others across the European realms. The Odessa pogroms, lasting between 1821 to 1905 in Ukraine, were examples of this. Others included the Warsaw pogrom in 1881, the Kishinev pogrom in Moldova in 1903, the Kiev pogrom in Ukraine in 1905, the Bialystok pogrom in Poland in 1906, the Lwów pogrom in Ukraine in 1918, the Kiev pogrom again in 1919, and the Kristallnacht pogrom, the Night of the Broken Glass in Germany, on November 9th, 1938. This toxic and vitriolic European vice and sentiment towards the Jewish community, whom they referred to as Christ killers, prevailed long before the Holocaust. The 800,000 Jews who were so-called expelled and subject to pogroms in the Muslim world were in fact nothing less than economic and ideological migrants who were invited to Jerusalem. However, the Jews coming from Europe were the victims of these pogroms, and this is something he doesn't talk about in his video. It is well known that governments and churches across Europe imposed waves of restrictions on Jews, dictating where they could and couldn't live, which jobs and professions they could hold, even banning them from owning land and property, and at times forcing them to wear distinctive markings to make them social pariahs. In this period, European literature and media were saturated with anti-Semitic propaganda and conspiracy theories about Jewish families and their economic control over the financial world. The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, being the most popular amongst these anti-Jewish conspiracies, was first published in Russia in 1903. The fictitious document was popularized outside Russia following the revolution in 1917 and spread rapidly towards continental Europe, where the Polish and German ideologues internalized the fear and hatred of Jews, culminating in the horrific events in the years to follow. These conspiracies, pogroms and vilification campaigns were not present in the Muslim Arab world at all. As a matter of fact, the Zionist movement was founded as a direct response to European anti-Semitism in the 19th century, long before the Holocaust. In actuality, many Jews were desperate to leave Europe, and they channeled their hopes and ambitions towards establishing a new home in the Middle East.